Yeah, I think we can start now. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Myself, Zafir Ali, Pre-Sale Technical Manager at ID Vision. On behalf of ID Vision, I would like to thank you all for joining us today, and we are delighted to have you with us for this session. A brief intro about ID Vision. ID Vision is a technology solution provider focused on identity, security, and access control solution across GCC and MENA region. We work closely with the leading global partners to deliver innovative and reliable solutions that help organizations enhance security and improve operational efficiency. Today, we are pleased to be joined by our partner IDCUBE, the world's first AI-powered physical access control platform, who will be leading this session. I would like to introduce our speaker for today. Hussein Ahmed is a sales manager, UAE, Oman, Kuwait, and Tufail Rawda, sales director, GCC. For IDCUBE, who will be taking you through this session. We believe this session will offer valuable insight and practical perspective. Hussein, over to you and let's get started.
Thanks, Zafir. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us and giving us your valuable time. I hope I am able to add value and provide insights about modern access control and what are the main advantages and features of IDCUBE. So, first, I would like to begin by introducing IDCUBE. IDCUBE is a US based company. We are an access control, physical access control platform. We have our offices mainly in three regions, which is the US, Middle East, and India. So the American market is taken care by the offices in America. The Middle East has two offices, one in Saudi, one in UAE, and then India has six offices where all of our software development also takes place. So the webinar we have today is about the four I's of modern access control. In this webinar, we'll find out what these four I's stand for, which form the four pillars of IDCUBE's platform, Access 360. So, who is IDCUBE and what is IDCUBE's platform? IDCUBE is an open, identity-centric, enterprise-grade access control platform. We say we are open because we work with various third-party devices, third-party systems like uh, video management systems, BMS systems, various third-party systems. We work with digital apps like WhatsApp. We work with enterprise systems which like HRMS and ERP, and we form an ecosystem. So we help the customers control everything from one user interface. We are identity centric, which means that we have the capability to have all kinds of identities under one single platform, whether it is fingerprint, whether it's card, whether it's QR codes, whether it's hand wave, all the digital identities are in one platform. We are an enterprise level solution, and like Zafir mentions, we are the world's first AI driven access control platform. We'll get more into the details in the further slides. So, what are these four I's? The four I's stand for infrastructure, identity, integration, and intelligence. We are going to take each one of these topics into details and see how they form the four pillars of any enterprise level access control platform. So infrastructure. Here, Access 360 gives you the openness to host your access control on-prem, on cloud, or in a hybrid environment. So we let the customers choose how they want to deploy their access control. We do not limit you to having on-prem or having cloud. You have the flexibility of the deployment of your system. We are open architecture. We integrate with multiple vendors, and we do not tell you what you should or should not have or decide that for you. You are able to design your access control the way you want it. The most critical option for any enterprise grade system is the high availability. So this is something we are able to provide you on-prem as well as cloud. High availability means that your system should be always up and running. When one server goes down, there's another server that's able to take its place instantly without any notice from the end user. Identity. This is one of the key points that differentiate us from our competition. We are a unified identity platform. We integrate with fingerprints, facial recognition, dynamic QR codes, access cards, as well as mobile credentials. All of these identities coexist on a single UI. There is no third party layering where we have to bridge between different third party systems, a different software for fingerprint, a different for facial recognition, a different for dynamic QR. We do not do that. We integrate natively with third party devices like Suprema, IDEMIA, Invixium, Verdi, and we manage the templates and databases on our platform. So this gives you the flexibility and the consistency in your system. You are not dependent on enrollment and database management using third-party softwares. Everything is managed by IDCUBE on one database on one platform. The third I, integrations. Not only do we integrate with third-party security systems, but also third-party management systems like HRMS and ERP. This helps you give an ecosystem where everything is managed from one place. You Once you onboard, let's say you are a property developer, or let's say you are a enterprise company that onboards a company on his HRMS, you do not have to enroll him again on the access control. The access control will be integrated to HRMS in a way that when he is onboarded onto the HRMS, automatically he gets onboarded on the access control platform as well, with all of his rights. Let's say if he's an IT staff or a sales staff, all of the rights related to his department are automatically assigned to him. So we integrate with HRMS, we integrate with identity management platforms, with BMS, with physical security, PSIMs, and with SOC, which is the Security Operations Center, which ensures cybersecurity and data protection compliances across the ecosystem. Intelligence, one of the most important layers. Artificial intelligence is no more an option or a feature. It is the absolute necessity. If you haven't adopted AI into your platform, you are lagging behind. We started our AI proprietary machine learning algorithm back in 2020 when no one was even talking about artificial intelligence. And by the time people started to talk about intelligence in 2022, we had already 2 years of experience in the field. So these are the four layers of intelligence. The first part is the access control system. So here, all of the data is collected from the access control. Whatever kind of logs are there and whatever kind of reports are there are collected from the access control system. Then the second layer is virtualization. Here you have your digital credentials and your digital environment like cloud solution. Here you can use your NFC and Bluetooth mobile credentials. You can use dynamic QR codes. You do not need to have a physical access card. Everything can be managed from your mobile. The third layer is the intelligence, which is our proprietary machine learning algorithm, where we take all of this data that comes from the access control and the virtual credentials, and we provide you the intelligence. We analyze security parameters, we analyze the data, and we are able to generate a report on, give you insights into the threats and vulnerabilities of your system. And then comes the communication. After this intelligence is gathered by the machine learning, it is presented to the customer in the form of dashboards and our AI chatbot, which is Aisha. So just like you have ChatGPT, we have our generative AI called Aisha, where you are able to ask your access control system any question like you would ask ChatGPT, like where is so and so person in my premises right now, or how many people are there in my office right now, or how many people came after 10 p.m. It's as easy as that. Your access control is not just you know a, a a platform where you'll have to go and review logs and generate reports. You don't have to do that anymore. You just ask the generative AI a question and it gives you an instant answer based on the data. So let's talk about the technology stack. In the beginning of the presentation, when I mentioned open protocol, this is what it means. We integrate with third-party devices like Suprema, IDEMIA, Verdi, HID, Mercury. We are able to integrate with any third party platform. We do not restrict you that this is our brand, you have to buy everything from our brand. No, you are able to decide what kind of devices you want, what kind of controllers you want, what kind of hosting environment you want. We do not tell you whether you should have an on-prem or a public cloud or a private cloud. You are able to decide that. So let's go step by step. First, you are able to decide what kind of platform you or what kind of hosting environment you want: on-prem, cloud, private cloud. Then you are able to decide what kind of operating system you want, whether you want Windows, whether you want Mac, whether you want Linux. Then you are able to decide your high availability, whether you want high availability on the cloud, whether you want high availability on-prem. And you are able to integrate with third party, all kinds of third party devices, not just devices but security ecosystems, like in a premises and enterprise premises. You will not have just access control. You will have video management, you will have elevator control, you will have key management, wireless locks, intercom, intrusion management, and then you will have your IT ecosystem like HRMS and ERP. So we integrate with everything to make a seamless experience for you. You do not shift between different softwares. Everything comes to you on one UI, and this UI is able to communicate with you like you would communicate to a chat GPT. You don't have to go through logs and generate reports. You can just ask it what you want and it's going to give it to you. This slide is basically showing you all of the features that we have on our platform. If you look at the bottom here, you will see the modules. So these are the solutions that we provide. Number one is Access Master, which is the access control. Easy Visit, which is the visitor management. Attendio, which is the time and attendance. AI Insights, which is our proprietary machine learning algorithm that is able to give you threats and vulnerabilities about your system right on your dashboard. And then we have Aisha, which is our generative AI that we spoke about. Our platform is a fluid UI. So it is able it is able to adapt to any kind of screen. Whether you are viewing it on a laptop, it adapts to it. Whether you're viewing it on a pad, whether you're viewing it any other kind of third party screen, it adapts to your layout. And we are giving you the option to customize the look and feel of your access control platform. You can choose what kind of color you want, whether you want light mode, whether you want dark mode, whether you want your logo there. We are able to give you the ability to to have your access control or your graphic UI as you like it. The security functions, you can see all of the functions related to the identity management, to events and alarms, to workflow automation, to people management, and to the intelligence. Everything is there on our platform. In this slide, we are giving you the system architecture of our system. Right in the middle, you can see Access 360, which is our access control platform, connected via IP to all of your third-party devices and third-party systems. So on the left hand side, you can see devices like the Mercury boards, like the long range reader, the Ideal are here, the Mercury boards, the Aero boards. You have third party devices like Invixium, IDEMIA, wireless locks from Aperio. All of your third party devices are here on the left hand side. On the right hand side, you can see all of the systems that operate as a one platform, whether it's cloud or whether it's on-prem. You have dashboards for attendance, you have dashboards for your artificial intelligence, you have dashboards for your visitor management, for your credentials, for your people management. All of the dashboards are here on the right hand side. On the top, you can see your third-party systems, security third-party systems like CCTV. You can have your digital credentials, CCTV, intercom, all of these third-party systems, lift access control, everything, all of the software systems on the top part. And then on the bottom part is our visitor management. So not only are you having access control on the same platform, you also have your visitor management. So not only are you taking control of your employees, but also your visitors on the same platform. So why choose IDCUBE? What are the differentiating factors between us and our competition? Firstly, on the infrastructure side, we are an ecosystem. Our competitors are fragmented. We let you choose your hosting environment, whether it's cloud on-prem, your database, whether it's Azure or whether it's PostGRE. We let you choose your operating system, whether you need a Mac, whether you need Windows, whether you need Linux. We let you choose your devices, whether you want Suprema, whether you want IDEMIA, whether you want any other third-party systems. We let you choose the platform and we let you choose your outputs. So it is an it is a interconnected platform that works as an ecosystem. It combines all of the systems to give you a seamless access to your entire building infrastructure. It is not fragmented like our competitors, where every individual system is working on its own. The CCTV is working on its own, the intercom is working on its own, and you have to, have various uh, servers and various databases, and everything is working independently. And when you have these fragmented systems, you can't have any intelligence, right? Because you are not able to relate, a deny access with, let's say, a camera feed. So somebody got deny access. You want to see who this person was that came in at the time that got the deny access. Maybe you saw between the time of 9 a.m. and 9:05 a.m. in this 5 minutes, you have 20 deny accesses. How will you know? How will you open your access control system and then you will go to your CCTV and check, between this time to this time what happened, and then you will go to your intercom or your barrier at 9, 5 minutes before that who came in. You don't have to do all of that. You have everything on one platform. You can have an event where if there is a deny access, the camera automatically records 5 seconds before it and 5 seconds after it and gives you a video playback. So this is the kind of intelligence that our platform provides. On the identity side, our platform, as I mentioned, is able to integrate with third-party devices and brings everything to one platform. So we integrate with these devices on a native level. We do not have, middlewares that connect our software with third-party software of devices like Invixium and IDEMIA. Everything is managed from our platform. So whether you have physical cards, whether you have mobile credentials, whether you have dynamic QR codes, whether you have fingerprints, everything is managed on one platform, on one UI, on one database. So let's say Hussein is an employee of IDCUBE. He has fingerprint also enrolled, he has a card also enrolled, he has a digital dynamic QR code also. So whenever I go to these multiple devices, I just show my credential and identifies and it links it to me, Hussein. I do not have to manage this person over multiple databases and multiple servers because everything is fragmented and he has to be enrolled multiple times, first on the HRMS and then from second on the fingerprint device and then on the QR code device. Multiple ways he has to be managed. And if one system is down, so now he's not able to gain access because that system is down. No. So everything is on one system and it gives you the seamless experience that you need as a customer. So what is the difference between us and our competitor? Over here, you can see that we have a native integration with the devices, whereas our competitor integrates using a third-party link. So let's take an example of Suprema. They have their own software called Biostar. So third access control systems are our competitors integrate with this Biostar in order to connect with the Suprema device. We do not do that. We connect directly with the device and you only have our software. You are not managing Biostar. And let's say you have various devices, right? Not just Suprema. You have Suprema in one location, you have IDEMIA in another location, you have HID in a third location. How are you going to manage it? How are you going to get any kind of intelligence? How are you going to get the seamless experience? You are not going to be able to get it from a fragmented system. We enable you to have everything on one platform so that your operations team has seamless details of all of your identities and you as the user have a seamless experience without getting stuck because of any reason. Here we are showing you a comparison between us and our competitors. On the right hand side, you can see the IDCUBE platform as its core feature is able to give you access control, time attendance, and visitor management as IDCUBE itself. And then we integrate with third-party systems like HRMS, BMS, identity management, all of these platforms. On the other hand, on the left side, our competitor only have access control as their core feature, and they have to integrate with all of the other systems, visitor management, attendance, and even when they're integrating with third-party devices, it's not on an SDK level, it's on a third-party middleware. So the seamlessness and the ecosystem is not provided by our competitors, whereas IDCUBE is an ecosystem working as one graphic user interface giving you all of your data in one place without you even having to check your logs or your reports. Just ask Aisha and it's going to give you the detail that you want. Let's say there was a breach. You want to know, you identified that this breach happened in this area. You can just ask Aisha why, uh, there was a breach in the IT room. Give me all of the data surrounding it, who accessed it, who came in, what time did they came in. It will be able to provide you that. So on the intelligence side, these are just some of our dashboard. On the left-hand side, you can see the people count dashboard. Here it's giving you a total count of all of your users, and it's able to have this intelligence because it integrates with all of the systems by, all of the devices on one platform. It's able to tell you, you have these many employees, 600, 1000, 10,000, and these many of them are using QR, these many of them are using mobile credentials, these many of them are using fingerprint, these many are using mobile credentials. So it's able to give you this graphic. Imagine if your system was fragmented, you would not be able to get this dashboard because every system would be operating independently. Then on the right hand side, we have our Gen AI, Aisha, which I spoke about. Just ask it any kind of question and it's going to give you the reply based on the data of your access control system. And on the bottom part, we have our vulnerability and risk assessment score, which is able to tell you, okay, you've bought the most expensive system, but you've not configured it properly. You've not configured it to run on the most optimized level. You've not, have done your anti-passback policy, or you've not set up your alarms properly, or whatever reason there is, or you have dormant users where you've given cards to somebody but he's never used them, which could be a security risk. So it tells you each and every gap and it gives your facility a score. So you are able to identify actually how well is your system performing. On a third party on a third party system, you would never be able to know how your system is actually performing. But us, we give you a score. Your vulnerability is 55%. And then we tell you how to bring it from 55 to 0. We tell you what are the steps taken to make yourself not only protected from outside threats, but also inside threats. On this slide is telling you all about our cybersecurity compliances. So you are rest assured that your data is fully protected, not only from outside threats, but also from inside threats. So you have your SOC 2 compliances, which relate to data protection, your GDPR, which relates to privacy controls, your ISO certifications for the cloud environment as well as the on-prem environment. You have your VAPTs, which is your vulnerability and penetration testing, which tests whether your system is actually impenetrable by using various methods to try to attack it, and then it gives you a report. So this certification is done every year to ensure that you are running the most up-to-date system without any kind of security vulnerabilities. And then you have your health and safety ISO certifications and your quality and operational excellence certifications. So all of these certifications are available with IDCUBE. Just to give you a few examples of IDCUBE and its customers, we are there in each and every critical and non-critical sector. When you talk about critical, you have oil and gas, you have defense, you have police, you have airports, all of these critical infrastructures. And then when you talk about non-critical, you have hospitality, you have education, you have co-working spaces. So we've worked with some of the biggest names in the Middle East and abroad. We work with Fortune 500 companies like BASF, where they trust us across their companies in the world. BASF is one customer that uses our system across 10 different regions. You have Nestle, Coca-Cola, all Fortune 500 companies. You have hospitality, you can see Emaar, Five, Hayat. You have the Saudi Air Navigation System. So you can see our experience across all sectors. So lastly, I would conclude by saying IDCUBE is not just controlling access. It is creating an intelligent security space. Just to give you an idea about our customer base, we've secured over 4,400 facilities. We work with 14 of the Fortune 500 companies. We have done 200 plus railway projects. We've done 35 plus airport projects. We've worked in 25 different countries. We have integrated with or are working with 150 different endpoints, and we work across 17 different verticals. So just to give you a breadth of the experience that we bring. Thank you so much. And we are going to take 10 minutes for any questions that you may have. You can type it and we'll answer them one by one on the chat. Please feel free to ask any questions. I hope it was an informative session, and I hope you are able to take away something from this. We, by the way, can also have webinars on to dive more into details about any particular point. Though this was the general introduction of everything IDCUBE has to offer, so we can obviously have a dedicated webinar for any part that you want to know more about, whether you want to just know about the visitor management or whether the time attendance or whether what kind of integrations we have or about our cloud solution or about what kind of mobile credentials you have. We can have a separate webinar and deep dive into any single topic. So you can request that with Zafir and you can connect with him. His information is here. Zafir, over to you. If any questions, you can just take from your customers. If anybody has any questions later on, they can send it to you by email as well, and then you can share it with us.
Yeah, thank you, Hussein. We can see a couple of questions. Would you mind please go through that
Okay,
before we
let me
close the
open
session?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Can you clearly differentiate capabilities and limitations between cloud and on-prem deployments? So when you talk about on-prem and cloud, the major advantage of cloud is that you do not need to have connect if you have different offices, let's say in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or in different countries like Saudi and Egypt, Dubai, Oman. You do not have to have a physical connectivity, and you do not have to go for expensive VPN services. Everything can be connected on the cloud, and you can have one central management platform that is able to provide access to all of your employees across the regions, and you can have a central database and you can manage the identities from a central location. That is the major plus point of having cloud. Now, another point is that your customers sometimes will say that we don't want our data to be hosted on the cloud. We want it to be locally hosted. We can absolutely provide that. So if you have a customer or you are from the UAE, then your data is has data sovereignty. So if you are in UAE, your data, even though hosted on the cloud, is hosted on cloud inside the UAE. If it's in some other region, then we can provide in that region. So that's the major advantage of having cloud. Now, if you talk about limitations, for us, the all of the features that we have on-prem, we also provide on cloud. The main limitation of on-prem is that it's you can only have your platform locally, and unless you have connectivity between different locations, which requires expensive fiber cabling, which requires expensive VPN connections, all of this will be eliminated. And on top of that, you will not need to invest in infrastructure, right? You do not have to buy Windows licenses, database licenses. You do not need IT staff to manage all of these services. You do not need, to have cybersecurity compliances by yourself. Our platform on the cloud and on-prem, of course, is fully cybersecurity compliant. But you, as when you have your on-prem, you have to ensure your environment is cybersecurity compliant as well, which on the cloud you won't have to do because we manage all of the services by ourselves. Even when you have just 5 readers or let's say 6 readers, you do not have to buy, the biggest server, because that server may be able to handle 500 readers, but you will have to buy it even though you have 6 readers. That's not the same on the cloud. The cloud, you only pay for the service that you need, and everything else is taken care by IDCUBE. All of the maintenance, all of the software updates, everything is automatic. So I think in today's time, everyone's opting for the cloud, whether it's a system like ERP, HRMS, antivirus, everything works on the cloud now. This is the future, and this is where all of the access control and all of the enterprise services are going to move towards. Do you provide API documentation? Yes, we do provide our APIs. If you have third-party integrations that you need for ERP, HRMS, VMS, BMS, Elevator, all of these systems, we provide our API, which lets you integrate with these third-party devices if they're not already integrated. So we already have existing integrations with multiple platforms. Let's say if you talk about VMS, we have with Milestone, Genetec, Digiford, Dahua, Hikvision. We are already integrated with these platforms. So you do not need the APIs because already integration is there. So you will need the API only if there are integrations that are not already present in our system. When you have to when data has to flow from the access control into these third-party systems. Yes, so different when you have the cloud, different systems and different, like a door in Saudi can be controlled from your office in the UAE. Yes. So the last question I can see over here is that is support included in the cloud? Yes. So cloud is a subscription model. As long as your subscription is active, support is provided. There is no additional support services that need to be taken when you have your cloud system. But when you have on-prem, support services are included for 1 year, and then you will have to go with AMCs and all of the other things that are related to on-prem. Thank you for those questions. They were, I hope I was able to answer them. Any more questions, please let us know. You can also, of course, reach Zafir at any time if you come up with any questions or any kind of requests for further deep dive into all of the multiple features of IDCUBE. Please do let us know. We would be more than happy to do more webinars in the future. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you listening to us and giving us the opportunity to present our solution. Thank you very much. Thanks, Zafir.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope you found the session insightful and valuable. And a big thank you, Hussein, from IDCUBE for sharing the insights. So as Hussein said, if you have any further question or clarity required, you can always contact me. You can get my mobile number and email address. Going forward, we'll be organizing more such a session in the future, and they will be keep you informed. Thanks once again for your time, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you.